Stack overview. Front-end. File and folder sharing. Generate shareable links. Create a unique identifier for each file or folder. Store the metadata, e.g., is shared URL, in the database. Add a route to serve shared content, e.g., /shared/id, JS. Protect shared links using optional password or expiration dates. Example. JavaScript. Saw checkma. Const generate shareable link equals, file ID equals, const base URL equals process, env, next underscore public underscore base underscore URL. Return $base URL, /shared/$ file ID. Shared file route, /shared/id, JS. JavaScript. Saw checkma. Import, getDoc, from Firebase/Firestore. Export async function get server-side props, context, const id equals context, params. Const file data equals await getDoc, doc, Firestore. Files, id. If file data exists, return not found, true. Return props file data, data. Export default function shared file, return, div, h1, file, name, /h1, a ref equals, file, download URL, download/a/div. File search and filtering. Use a search bar to filter files by name or type. Implement a backend function to query files from Firestore or your database. Add dropdowns to filter by file type, e.g., PDFs, images, videos. Example UI. JavaScript. Saw checkma. Input. Type equals text. Placeholder equals search files. Class name equals p2 border rounded. OnChange equals e equals set search query, e, target, value. Real-time collaboration. Use Firebase real-time database for real-time updates when files or folders are modified. Display live activity logs to show changes, e.g., user X uploaded file Y. Storage limits and quotas. Set a storage quota per user. Track the total size of uploaded files for each user. Warn or block uploads when the quota is exceeded. Example. JavaScript. Saw checkma. Const check quota equals, current size, new file size. Max quota equals, return current size plus new file size equals max quota. Display a progress bar for used storage. File versioning. Implement version control for files by storing multiple versions in your database. Allow users to view and restore previous versions. Dark mode. Enable dark mode with Tailwind CSS. Configure Tailwind. Config. JS. JavaScript. Saw checkma. Module. Exports equals. Dark mode, class. // add this line. Theme, extend. Toggle dark mode with a button. JavaScript. Saw checkma. Const toggle dark mode equals, document element, class list, toggle, dark. Offline access. Use service workers, via next PWA, to cache essential assets for offline access. Install the package, bash, saw checkma, npm install next PWA, configure in next, config, JS, JavaScript, saw checkma, const with PWA equals require, next PWA, dest, public. Module, exports equals with PWA. Enable IndexedDB for offline file metadata storage. 10. Testing and optimization. Testing. Unit tests for UI components using Jest and React testing library. Integration tests for API routes using Postman or Playwright. End-to-end tests with Cypress. Performance optimization. Use lazy loading for large file previews. Optimize images with Next. JS's built-in image component. Enable caching for frequently accessed files. 11. Deployment checklist. Deploy to Vercel. Push the repository to GitHub/GitLab. Connect the repository to Vercel. Set environment variables, e.g., Firebase config, API keys. Configure Firebase or AWS storage rules for secure file access. Test the application on production. Framework, Next. JS 15. Styling, Tailwind CSS or Material UI. Authentication, NextAuth. JS or Firebase authentication. Backend, API routes. Next, JS API routes, serverless functions. Database, Firebase Firestore. MongoDB with Prisma or Supabase. File storage, Firebase storage. AWS S3 or Google Cloud Storage. Deployment, Versal for front-end and API routes. Cloud service for file storage, Firebase or AWS. Features, user authentication, file upload/download, file preview, PDF, images, etc. Folder structure, shareable links, step-by-step implementation. 1. Set up the project. Install Next, JS 15, Bash, npx create next app at 15 Google Drive clone, cd Google Drive clone, install dependencies, Bash, npm install Tailwind next auth Firebase React icons. 2. Configure Tailwind CSS, initialize Tailwind CSS, Bash, npx Tailwind init, update Tailwind, config, JS, JavaScript, module, exports equals, content, /pages/***** JS, TS, JSX, TSX, /components /**** JS, TS, JSX, TSX. Theme, extend. Plugins. Add Tailwind to globals. CSS, CSS, at Tailwind base. At Tailwind components. At Tailwind utilities. 3. Set up authentication. Firebase. Create a Firebase project. Enable Firebase authentication and choose Google Sign-In. Install Firebase SDK, Bash, npm install Firebase. Initialize Firebase in Firebase. JS, JavaScript. Import, initialize app from Firebase/app. Const Firebase config equals API key, your underscore API underscore key. Auth domain, your underscore UTH underscore domain. Project ID, your underscore project underscore ID. Storage bucket, your underscore storage underscore bucket.